So hello everyone, welcome to this another video of Spring REST playlist. I'm Abhishek Verma and in today's video we are going to learn about another advanced topic of Spring REST, that is API versioning. Now from the name itself, it is clear that it is going to be used to create multiple versions of the same API. But the question is, why do we need multiple versions of the same API? So that we are directly going to see within the video itself. Another interesting thing which I can tell you is that not only one, not only two, not only three, but we are going to discuss 4 different ways of API versioning in this same video itself. Also, I will be telling you about my favorite way. Later on, it is your choice which one you wish to go for. So without wasting any more time, let's directly get started and see how the things are going to look like. So now we are in the IDE, and before we start with our today's demo, first of all, let's do a quick recap. For this, I will go here in demo 11, then I will be going to this UML diagram, and here let me just increase the size a bit. So first of all, if you see, we are having a demo class as always, then we are having the controller class. From there, we were moving on to the service layer. We were having service IMPL, then we were moving on to the repository layer. Beside this, with the help of mapstruct, we were having the mapper interface and the exception controller advice. Then we were also having the entity classes and DTO classes as always. Yeah, I mean, this much part is by now common to you. Then the important thing which we did in the last demo was the actuators. So we learned that there are multiple default actuators which are available to us. And in order to add them, we just need to do few of the things. That is, we just need to add a dependency first of all. Then we need to go to application.properties. And then we need to add this particular property so that it is going to show us the URLs of all the default actuators. Then in case you want more information from the health endpoint, you just need to say always here. If in the info endpoint, you want more information, then all that information you can provide from here. And this is completely up to you what you want to write after this info. Yeah, it can be completely custom. Beside this, what if you need to create a custom actuator? For this, you just need to go here and then you need to create a class like this. On that, you need to say @endpoint. So like for controllers, we say it is @REST controller and @request mapping. Here we need to say @endpoint. And this is only going to be the part of your URL. Then here, instead of get mapping, we call it as read mapping. Instead of post and put mapping, we call it as write operation. And instead of delete mapping, we call it as delete operation. Instead of path variable, we call it as @selector. And these were the things. Now again, you may say that, okay, Abhishek, what we will do with a custom actuator? So that I have already answered in that particular video. So it's up to you that you should be watching it here. Now let's close all these things and move on towards our today's demo. So now here we are in demo number 12. So first of all, what I will do is I will show you this pom.xml. So here you see that in this pom.xml, I'm just having a basic starter dependency, web, data JPA, MySQL, Lombok, and mapstruct. So in short, I want to tell you that I haven't added any new dependency for this, and even the actuator dependency, XML, and all other extra dependencies I have removed from it because I don't want all of them here. Then after this, if we move on towards the controller class, so you will see there is only one simple mapping here, that is /owners, and all of you know what it is going to do. So this is going to return you the list of owner detail. In case you will say, no, Abhishek, we still want to see that how it is going to work. So let me just go here and execute. So as we can see that it has started working. Now let's go on here. And here I have already created demo number 12. Here, let me say find all owners, and on executing, you will see that I'm getting the list of all the 72 owners. Yeah. Now within each and every owner, we are getting the pet details also, as well as the main owner details. So it is going to look something like this. Now, let's go back here because that was a very basic thing. And from here, let me just clear it and let me just stop it. Now, what is the new thing? Now the scenario is, let's say that currently our application is already running on a particular server. And there are multiple customers which are making usage of our application. So currently what they are doing, they are basically able to hit this particular API and get the list of owner along with the list of pet. I mean the owner as well as pet details. Later on, you onboard a new customer, and the new customer says that I want to see the list of owner, but within that, I'm not interested to see the pet details. You will say, okay, just ignore the extra variables. I mean, it's that simple. Okay, just look on towards the owner variables only. But that particular customer says, no, I want a list of owner where it is only the owner detail. It should not contain the pet details. Then what will you will do? So you will say that, okay, in that case, since customer is paying you the money, okay, so if they are asking you for something new, then you need to fulfill that particular requirement also. So what we will do is that first of all, we will go to this service IMPL, and here we need to create a new method. So you see, this was my already existing method, find all owners, and this is my new method, find all owners without pets. So here I have created it something like this. And what I'm basically doing, I'm fetching from the owner repository only, then I'm converting it to a stream, and then I'm converting it to a DTO. Now within this DTO, what I have said is that this time I don't want the pet DTO details. So for this pet DTO, I'm saying just ignore that particular part. So in this case, in the output, it is going to show me only the owner details and not the pet DTO. For that, it is going to say me null or something like this. So this is the point. Now, if it is here, so in the controller, what do we need to do? We just need to copy it something like this. And here we need to create a new method which will look like this. Now, what next I can do is that I will be copying this particular method name from here. And let me again paste it somewhere into this particular part here, as well as let me paste it somewhere here so that we can get the owners without the pets. And that's it. It was as simple as that. Nothing much, very simple. But there is one small problem. And the small problem is that both of them are just get mapping only. Both of them are returning list only, and both of them are in the same controller. So the moment you will try to run it, Spring REST will throw you an error saying that there are two methods with the same mapping of /owners, and both of them are get mapping only. So that means this is not going to work. Now the question comes is, what URL changes will you do in order to support both the methods? You will say, okay, Abhishek, what if we remove the first method completely? Then what? The answer is you can't do it. Why you can't do it? Because just one customer asked you for this new method. There are many other customers who are making usage of this existing method. So if you will remove it, then they are not going to pay you the money. Yeah. Now the thing is, you want money from the new customer as well as old customers. So that's the point. Many times it also happens that you can't just simply remove the APIs as it is. Okay. I mean, some of the old systems, let's say there is a single customer only. They want a new functionality also, but as of now, they haven't removed their old functionality. So they want both the features, the new as well as old one. So in that case, what can be done? Now, one simple option which is coming in my mind is that I will go here and I will be making some small change. Now, what change we can do? So here I can say that, okay, this was working from a long time. So here I can make it as /new. I mean, that is one option I can say, but then it will look something as /owners/new. So it is not going to sound better that, okay, why it is /new and then it is only providing the owner details, not pattern, something like this. So it is not much readable. So what we can do is we can say here v2, something like this. I hope that will also work. So here we have added a new version for this particular thing. Now let me just execute it. So I'll again go here and I will be executing this one. And this time you see it is going to work here. Why? Because we are having two different URLs here. So this time I will go here and what I will do is let me just simply duplicate it in this particular way. And here in this particular way also, like here it is just a name. So here I'm going to say v2. That simply means a version 2 of it. And here I'm going to say v2. So now if I hit this particular one, you will see I'm getting this kind of output. So here we can see the owner details and pet DTO is coming as null. Yeah. There are also possible options that you can remove this particular part also, but that we will see in some different video of best practices. As of now, focus on the output part. So with this first one, which is still working, so it's not a case that that is not working. So there you will see the owner DTO as well as pet DTO. And in this second one, you will only see the owner DTO. That is, owner DTO is only, there is no pet DTO. And both the customers are going to be happy also here. So you can simply save it. And that way, this video can be completed. But that's not a thing, guys, because here this is just one of the ways of creating the new versions of your API. We are going to have 3 more ways which we are going to learn in this video itself, and at the end I will tell you which is my favorite way. But this was the first way, and we call it as URI versioning. Yeah, so this is the point, and this is very simple. Like whatever the new URL if you wish to make, there you just need to say like this v2, v3, v4 or something like this. You will say, Abhishek, should we write here v1 also? Generally that is not a case. Yeah, I mean, just in case of movies also, if you see, they released Golmaal, then they said Golmaal 2, Golmaal 3, something like this. So they never said Golmaal 1. By default it was Golmaal only. Same way for Doom, Doom 2, Doom 3. So same way here. Generally for the first one, we don't write anything. By default we assume that okay, this is the first one. So this is URI version. Now let's go on with the second one. Now, before going on with the second one, let's try to understand the drawback for this one. Here, the drawback was that in our URL, now we mandatorily need to write it something like this. And it doesn't looks nice, okay? That in your URL, you are saying like /v2 and something like this, okay? And it may happen there is some meaning also for this particular thing, that yeah, you are sometimes making usage of some other purpose also. Let's say it is some kind of your path variable or any other kind of a thing. So there are chances that someone may get confused. Yeah? So this is one of the point. Then what else we can do? Second option is that you don't need to make any such kind of a change. Yeah. So you can remove it completely. And what then we need to do is that we need to go inside this get mapping. And here you will see that we are having so many methods available here. Out of them, one method is this headers. So what we will do is we will copy it from here, and we don't need this service sample, that is going to remain common only now. And here I will be providing it something like this headers. Now within the headers, I will be providing a value, and it can be anything. Okay, so here let me write it as something like this X API, and then we are going to say here version. Yeah, so this way we are going to say, and I will be saying here too. So this is the one. Yeah. Now you will say that, okay, Abhishek, is it mandatory to write such a big thing? The answer is no, it is not mandatory. You can make it simple also, but just it should be much more readable, that what you are basically trying to do. If you say, no, I don't want such a big name, you can just simply say it like this, version. That's it. Yeah. So this is also going to work fine for us. Now let's see how this is going to make the change in your API. So again, let me just start it something like this. And remember, earlier it was just a direct change in the URL. Now I need to say it as headers, and then I will be providing some value as version equals to 2. You can simply say it as v equals to 2 also. That is also going to work. Yeah. So now let me again go back here. And first of all, let's again see whether this is working or not. So this one we see is working fine. Let's go for this particular one and let me execute. So now you see this one is no more working. Why? Because now we don't have anything as v2. Yeah. So here what I will do is that in the name, let me change it to as URI versioning, so that later on, whenever you are going to see, you will remember all these things. Yeah. I provide all these things in my main code also. Yeah. Then next what we will do is, let me just simply duplicate it like this. And here, this one, we call it as custom headers. So here, let me give the name as custom headers like this. Now this time, as you remember, this v2 is not going to work. So instead, as the name suggests, custom header. So we need to go to this particular header. And now you see the value of header you gave as version. So this is your key and 2 is your value. So we will go here, and here I'm going to add something as version. and here I'm going to add something as 2. Yeah. So it is going to look like this under the headers tab, not in the params or the body or anything else, just here. And it can be any name. The only point is it should be matching that particular one. Now let's click on this particular send, and you see this one is working fine. Now you will say, okay, Abhishek, what's the benefit? The benefit is your main URL is still looking same only. So if anyone will just see the URL, they won't come to know whether it is first version or second version. For this, they just need to go to this extra part, which we call as version. Now you will say that, okay, Abhishek, is it simple to provide the values here? The answer is yes. So generally we make usage of this also. In one of the last demos, I shown you with the help of XML that how you can tell whether you want the XML output or the JSON output. For that also we used to say here accept, and then we used to say application/JSON or application/XML. Generally, when you are making usage of something as Angular, React or something like this, there also you have option to provide all these headers. So this is also one of the perfect ways. And another interesting part, there is no change in this particular one. So let's say if you are going to remove it temporarily like this, then it is going to show you the first output. If you are going to keep it something like this, it is going to show you the second output. So it is going to be easier one. So this was our way number 2. Now let's go on with the next one. Now the next one is again related to your headers only, but this time you see that whenever we have these headers, there is one header as accept. So this is a by default header only, that is accept. Yeah. So what we will do here is that here, let me create another one. So I will say here duplicate, and in this one, what we will do is here, I will be calling it as accept header. So let's see that how with the help of this accept header, we can use or we can change this API. So here I'm going to say accept header. And here this time, let's go to this particular headers. Now in order to make usage of this accept header, first of all, what we will do is let's remove this version because this we don't need. So you see that we are already getting this accept available here as the header. So here, let me remove it something like this because you can't delete it completely. Then here I will be providing value as accept, something like this. Now here, if you see, by default, we get some values as application/JSON or application/XML. So this is the value we provide generally. But this time, instead of this, what we will do is that after application, which is for your MIME type, and after this, we are going to say something as VND. Here, VND stands for the vendor specific. Then after this VND, it can be something your application name. So here, let me call it as demo, something like this. And after this one, I will be calling it as V2. And then I will be saying here plus. So it is going to look something like this. Application slash basically, because that is the default part. Generally, it is application/JSON or application/XML. But here what we are doing between that part, we are saying here VND dot, which means vendor specific. Then we are saying our application name as demo, because again, it's a good practice. And then here we are saying -v2, which means it is going to be version 2. And then we need to separate these two things, the JSON part as well as the V2 part. So that's why we are making usage of the plus symbol here. So this is how it is going to work. Now let me simply copy this, and first of all, let's try to execute. So currently, if I will execute, you see nothing is working. I mean, it is still showing you the first one only. Why it is still showing you the first one? Because by default, this /owners is going to point to the first one, and there is no option that your application will come to know that, okay, what is going on here? What's the purpose of this one? So we will go here, and now let's start making the changes in our code. So this time, since you are making usage of the accept header, so you don't need to mention headers here. Instead, you need to call it as produces. So whenever it is about accept, here you need to say as produces. And then into this particular part, you just need to say it something like this, and here directly provide the value. Whatever you mentioned there, you don't need to make usage of the word accept again here, because whenever you say produces, it automatically maps to the accept part. So here also the same thing, application VND for the vendor specific, demo, you can call it as demo, you can call my name, your name. Generally, this is the name of your application. Yeah? Then here we are saying -v2 just to mention that it is version 2, and we are saying that still it is going to support JSON only. Yeah. If you say no, I want to say for XML, so you can mention XML here. Yeah. If you say no, I want for JSON as well as XML, so here you can, have that particular kind of array, and within that you can provide the values. So here let's save it, and let's again try to restart this particular thing. So it is working, and yeah, this is basically your third way of accept header versioning. So we can see it has started. Now let's go back again here, and let me try to again hit this one. So yeah, now you see it is still working fine. So it is just working into this particular way, because this time, depending on the accept, it is showing you the output for the second one. And here, when you don't provide any of these things, something like this, by default, it is going to point to the first one only. So this was the third way. Now let's go on with the fourth way, which is my personal favorite way. Yeah. For this, what I will do is, let me copy this URI versioning one. You can copy any one of them. Yeah, because obviously we need to make the changes, and let me move it somewhere here on the bottom. And here what I will call it as, this one is going to be your request param way. Okay. So yeah, this is the one, request param. If you remember, we have a video also. I will provide the link in the description. Yeah. So that is the one. Now, what we are going to do this time here is that now we don't need to make any of the changes in the headers. Yeah. Now, if you remember how the request params used to work. For request param, the things used to be very, very simple. Instead of this slash, we will be providing it as a question mark. Yeah. And then if you will just say it like this v2, then it is going to become just a key only, like you just saw here. So what we will do is, after v, we are going to say equal to. So we will say v is your key and 2 is your value for that particular key. Now, if you will say only v is looking odd, so we can call it as version also, something like this. Yeah. So this is going to work fine. And now let me just save it like this particular one. Let's see whether it will actually work or not. So you see this is still not working. It is pointing to the first one because we are not mapping anything with this version equals to 2. So let's try to map it. So for this, we will again go back here. And this time, instead of calling it as produces, we will be making usage of the term as params. Again, this is available in these getMapping.class. So here, it must be somewhere here only as params. Yeah, this is the one as params. Yeah. So this was the case. So here we are going to say this one, and here we are going to say version equals to 2. I mean, whatever you mentioned there, same thing you just need to mention here. Yeah. Then you will say, okay, Abhishek, do we need to make usage of that request param annotation? The answer is no. Only this params is going to be enough for our case. So yeah, this is going to work. And now let me just restart it again. So on restarting, you see it is still working, our fourth way. So let's go back again here. And now if I will do it something like this, you see it is pointing to the same second option. Yeah. And the benefit is, if I remove it from here, then it will start pointing to the first one. Yeah. If I will add it, it will start pointing it to the second one. So these are the 4 ways which we saw today. So first one was the URI versioning. Why I personally don't like it, because here we need to change our URL also completely. Okay. I mean, you will say that, okay, it is just a slash video, but still you are making change in your URL. Yeah. And then it becomes mandatory that, okay, you should be writing it. Yeah. So in case if someone says, no, I don't want to add it, then they need to remove it completely from here. Second option was the custom header. Here, the benefit is that the header key, you can provide anything, and then value, you can do it like this. So this is also an option. Here, the benefit is that in your URL, there is no change. Yeah? But then there is hard work of adding it in the headers part. Then the next one was the accept header, that here, instead of creating a new header, you can directly make changes in the existing accept header only. The only thing which you need to remember is the way you are going to write the value. If you will make a mistake here, then it is not going to work. And again, the benefit is you are not making any of the changes in your URL. And then the last one is your request param. Here, why this is my favorite one, because of this request param, it becomes an optional kind of a thing. Like, it is removed
it is added, removed, added. So it is almost providing me the same advantage which headers were providing me. I can remove, I can add them as per my requirement. Another thing is it makes your URL also more readable. Question version equals to 2. If you will remove it, it will keep on pointing to the first version. Yeah. So that's why this request param is my favorite. But the thing is, depending on your company style, depending on your project style, you may be using URI versioning, custom header, accept header, or the request param. That completely depends on your architectural style. Yeah? So this is the thing, and I hope you find it helpful. If yes, please do like the video and share it with your friends so that we can grow more. Bye everyone.